Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody. Here we go again. I'm gonna go ahead and implement some new features in the AI video editing application. All right, so let's go ahead and see what I'm working on right now. So right now I've decided to implement this new feature where we're gonna go ahead and add J cut and L cut and cutaway. So it's a simple mechanism. So here's how we're going to do it. First of all, let me explain more or less what we're getting into. So the prompt was this. I would like to implement this setup. We recently locked in the secure, accurate fast forward MPEG cutting from our validated clips, plans, and milestone 4. So I'm ready to start actively building out the logics for split edits and secondary shots. Basically, I'm telling, uh, uh, in this case, Codex, but ChatGPT as the senior, he's my senior developer. Please provide me with the step-by-step instructions and architectural approach to implement J cuts, L cuts, and cutaway using our current FFmpeg setup. So basically, at the end, I prompted him to please basically but please make appropriate changes where needed to make this work. So even though I gave him the prompt, which I got from another user agent, in this case Gemini, I asked them to prepare the prompt, even though I could have easily asked them to prepare the prompt here, but I want him to focus on what we're doing specifically on his end right here, building the actual video AI video editing system that we build in here, the application. But if I want to add a feature, I want to go ahead and start it off with a different user agent. In this case is Gemini. And if we take a look at the prompt that or what I prompted him to do was let me see, I think it was here. No, it wasn't this one. It must have been in my other, must have been in this one. Yeah, I'm not sure if it saved it. Whatever's the case, I'm gonna go ahead and prompt them again, and then you'll see what I mean. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this off from here. So basically, he went ahead and told me yes, but we should not add this logic to the existing milestone for cutter. The cutter responsibility remains producing independent duration safe clips. Split edits and cutaway requires a new track aware composition layer after planning. So we're gonna skip and not touch milestone 4. That's what he's saying here, right? So global 5 to 7 minute planner, uh, conical manifest, composition plan, so edible OTIO, timeline, and optional FFmpeg rendered preview. So then he goes ahead and explains how a J cut and an L cut works. So the planner still owns clips boundaries. The composition layer only changes which audio or picture is heard, seen, or seen around those boundaries. So time and offset model, right? So at a boundary between clip A and clip B. So A source range is A in, A out. B is the same thing, B in, B out. Um, and these are clips or video clips, right? And then picture cut time is T, split edit duration is D. So the J cut, right? The J cut is basically the audio or clip B. Audio begins seconds before B's picture. So before the picture kicks in, the actual audio is going to start first. So if you don't read, I would advise to not read the D, because it's meant for duration. So if you read it with the D, it might be a little confusing. So B's audio begins duration seconds before B's picture. It's best to just say B's audio begins seconds before B's picture. So it's the J because if you look at it, the J is like this, right? So this part of the J is the audio, and then this part is the video. So the audio is going to kick in, and then it's going to hit that other part right here. When it hits that part, that this is where the video kicks in. The video can go on infinitely, but first the audio of this video kicks in first. So you see it better working when we actually put it to work. But right now, I don't want you guys to worry about the actual video, the visual concept. Like, probably use your imagination if you like, but I doubt it that that should be the most important part of this explanation. Is just so you can understand the concept. Then eventually we'll learn how it really works on the actual video editing system that we're creating here, or on DaVinci Resolve. All right. Um, so basically, he explains it over here in text. So A video, A in, A out. B video, B in, B out. So basically, A in means when it starts, the video clip starts an A in, and it finishes an A out. In this case, it's the same thing for a video B. Video B it starts and then it ends, right? And video B out. So the audio is the same thing, audio in, audio out, minus the duration time, and clip B, it's in and then minus duration time and then out. So audio changes at timeline time, my time minus D. Okay, so at T, B audio has rich B in. Okay, so B audio and video become synchronized afterwards. Okay, so require handle is bin minus D, and well, I keep saying bin, but B video clip B in minus duration is greater than or equal to 0. A out minus duration is greater than A in, and that's basically the handles. Okay, that's what we're basically working with, more or less, and the J cut. The out cut is very similar, but here's another way to explain it. You guys can go ahead and go over this. But if we look at this over here, and let's say we go ahead and copy it and we pop it into Gemini, Gemini is going to give us a specific explanation of how it works. I would suggest to enter that and then press Shift Enter to give it a line break, and then just say explain. You know, type in explain. It's probably take less than a few seconds. 20-25 seconds, maybe less. And then he's going to explain it. So the code is an FFmpeg complex filter graph. It is used to precisely trim and combine, concatenate, which means concatenate, right? Concatenate two separate media inputs into a single output. The standout feature of this specific script is the split edit. Okay, also known as the J cut or the L cut effect, happening in the audio. All right, that's where the magic happens, right? In the audio, more or less. Well, you'll see. So the video is cut exactly at the specific timestamps, but the audio is offset by a specific duration represented by the variable D for duration, right? So here's the line by line breakdown, right? So the video operation, right? So in this case, this portion here, we're talking about this portion here, right? So we have V for video, and then this is the index 0. At 0, we're going to trim. Trim equals start equals clip in, and the end is clip out. And then this, we're going to set it to 0, right? This is what this means. We're going to set it to 0 right here. So let's keep reading so we can understand better. So grabs the video stream of the first input, right? This is the first input. We're going to go ahead and trim. We're going to cut the video so it only plays from timestamp in to out, from beginning to end, right? So here's what I was explaining, this part right here. So resets the presentation timestamp, so the newly cut video starts at 0 seconds instead of retaining its original timestamp. So we're creating a clip here. We don't want it to play the original start to end video. We want to take that video and clip it somewhere. So when we clip it, we want it to begin at 0. So the video for the first video for the clip A labels this resultant video snippet as video A. So now we're going to go ahead and start at 1. So the trim starts at video clip B in and then out. Then we set it to 0 again, right? So we grab video stream, the second input, all right? And then we cut it between timestamps and in and out. And we set the timestamp to 0 and label it video B. So video A plus video B, we're gonna concatenate it and we're gonna put it together, right? Takes the two trim video snippets, video A and video B, and joins them together end to end. And then N2 means there are two segments being joined. Okay, so video it equals 1, A equals 0, tells the filter to expect exactly 1 video stream and 0 audio streaming from each segment. So the VL is the final video output label. So the audio operation, right? So we have, it starts at 0 audio, and video A trim equals, it starts at starts and then it ends, and then we're gonna go ahead and set it to 0 at audio A. Okay, so we're gonna grab the audio stream of the first input. We're gonna cut the audio starting at N, but cuts the end short by subtracting a duration value. And we're gonna reset audio timestamps to 0. So the purpose of, well, I mean, it explained it a lot better because I did put this in before and I lost the explanation for some reason. But whatever is the case, it's very simple. But I'm just giving you guys a heads up of how they're explaining it here. It's basically a J cut. The audio kicks in first. This part of the J, the little hook right here to the left. That's where audio starts, and then this part is the video. Okay, so first the audio kicks in, and then it then joints with the video. That's what the J cut, and that's how that works. So it makes it sound more real. It makes it sound real versus fading it into a different clip. When you fade it into a different clip, it doesn't look real. Your eyes don't visualize things like that, you know? So you might hear the sound first, and then when you capture the actual visual effect, see, that's normal. But you don't look to the left and the right and then things start to fade in. That's not the way reality works, right? So it's kind of weird. So we want to use J cut or L cut in order to transition from one clip to another. This is best practice, I would say. And this is the command. We're going to enter that. and then this is the L cut. In this case, the video kicks in first, and then the audio keeps going. And when the audio keeps going, we could drop in a different clip. So let's say you're listening to this person talk, but when you move to the right, you look at, let's say, a chair over there, but you're still listening to this person. That's the L cut. The Y cut, I mean the J cut would be the same. You're listening to this person talk, but you're looking this way at a different visual. So that's pretty much what it is. Versus looking this way and listening to audio, and then it fades in. Like if you're like looking at a computer or a television or some sort of, graphical effect or effect, that's not natural. So there you go. That's my explanation of how that works. And I'm gonna go ahead and implement that because I want to keep it as professional as possible. The AI video editing application. Eventually we're gonna take off all this stuff. I'm gonna edit this whole video, this whole tutorial that I'm making here, or seminar or whatever you want to call it, of how to create a AI or video editing application. And you're gonna see the difference. I also have it in live, so you can see the one that's unedited, uncut. So you can see all the flaws and mistakes that any person that's doing um, video tutorials or online courses, we make mistakes. We all do. But then that's where the art of applying editing to your videos comes in, and you need a editing video application to do that, such as DaVinci Resolve. But in this case, I prefer making one on my own to eventually combine it with a professional editing video applications such as DaVinci Resolve, right? So the cutaway architecture is the one that I was explaining, that it fades in. Okay, so this replaces the primary picture without altering its audio or total duration. Multiple cutaways should initially be sorted. Non-overlapping intervals, overlapping cutaways should be rejected rather than resolved implicitly. So necessary architecture additional, do not refactor the video cutter, add focus modules such as composition types and composition validator, split edit math, all this good stuff. These are all TypeScript files that we're going to add to make it work. And then this is the file hierarchy, the structure. It composition plan, primary edit decisions, split edit. Well, this is actually the contract that we're gonna give our senior developer. I believe we're speaking about how we're gonna make it work, how we're gonna make it happen. And these are the steps that we're gonna make. These are the contracts that we need in order for it to do it correctly without having to, like, you know, just override other steps that we're already done, right? That's why it's called the contract, right? So again, each split edit needs a stable ID, boundary edit references, J-cut or L-cut, request duration, effective duration, auto policy validation, diagnostics, okay? So video boundaries should be quantized using exact rational FPS, frames per second. Audio boundaries should be quantized to audio samples, preserve both request and effective times. Eventually, the canonical manifest should advance additively to 2.1.0. And let me see, I know that this is, let me see what this means real quick. This is a file format that we can save it. And in this case, this is the DaVinci file format. So let's see what he gives us here. So OTIO stands for Open Timeline IO. It is an open source API and interchange format designed specifically for handling editorial cut information and timeline data in films, video, and animation pipelines. In the context of the AI video processing app you are building, OTIO is highly relevant. Here is a breakdown of what it does and why it matters. It is a blueprint, not a video file. A modern replacement for XML and AAF. How it fits into AI video editing pipeline. I think this is what I was talking about. So you could then import that OTIO file directly into Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve. The cuts will automatically populate on your timeline, allowing you to manually review and tweak the AI's edit decision before doing the final render. All right. So that's what I was getting at. Okay, so let's move on. So before implementing this feature, finish the current milestone 11B, get PR. Again, I did mention PR again. I believe that's push and let's see what it means again. I would like to get as much information about my terms as much as possible. So PR is pull request, great. So again, before implementing this feature, finish the current milestone 11B, get pull request checkpoint. Do not make split edit work into the uncommitted OTIO branch. After 11B is merged, the first implementation phase is pure composition math and validation, no FF and tag execution yet. Give Copilot this prompt after returning to clean main. Okay, so let's go ahead and give him this prompt. So system notes, once the pure composition plan is validated, the same safe plan can drive both FFmpeg previews and edible resolve OTIO timelines without giving an assistant access to raw FFmpeg commands. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to our VS Code Copilot. And I'm gonna go ahead and give him this prompt. Press enter. And let's give them some time to figure out what are our next steps. So he says, I'm starting phase 1. Okay. Per your requirement safety constraints, I stop before making any new edits. How do you want to proceed? So he already did it. So I'm starting phase 1 by creating the request branch and then scaffolding the 4 composition modules plus declaration, only 2 schema and tests while keeping everything pure deterministic and avoiding any FFmpeg execution. The manifest schema changes after implementing. I'll run type checks, tests, and everything else. I need to verify repository states before coding. Let me see my repository. Okay, everything looking sweet. Nice and cool. Okay, so I need to verify repository states before coding so the branch truly starts from clean, which is the main. All right, I'll check current branches and working trees now and then proceed safely. So can I safely start yet from a clean main state because this bus is currently on milestone 11B OTIO resolve export with logo track and on check changes present current state. So let's go ahead and give them the last response and see where we can take off from there. I want to see if this is where I had our last conversation. No, it looks like he didn't save it. That's the problem. I definitely had it in here. I have two different accounts, this account and then this account. So it's supposed to be in this account, but for some reason, yeah. All right. So let's see what's going on here. So now he goes ahead and says, do not choose option 1 through 3. The current changes are valid milestone 11B work. Resetting would destroy them, while branching now would mix OTIO and split edit development. So let's tell Copilot this. Let's go ahead and prompt them per our executive senior developer, brought to you by ChatGPT. I'll complete the milestone 11B checkpoints. So he's going to go ahead and run the checkpoints. He's going to run some tests. Okay, so branch is correct. README doesn't currently show those exact Resolve 21 completion markers. So I'll run all required validations first and then update README with an explicit complete validation record before staging. So let's go ahead and click allow. Allow. So they all passed. Next, I'm confirming ignore coverage, and then I'll add the explicit. Okay. Go ahead and click allow. Allow. So I believe each milestone is gonna have its own Git restore point. So this is one of the processes that we're running also. So that's good. And we're done here. We're gonna go ahead and click keep. Right click and give them the last response and see where we had it. Pull to. Stage file list summary, commit content, 21 files changed, 2,711 insertions, 3 deletions, added OTIO exporter, CLI validator, error modules, timeline worker package. All right. No errors. And no output. Okay. So excellent. Milestone 11B safely committed, pushed, and isolated, and pull request. Is it push or pull? Pull request. Pull request, right? So pull request number 2, committed, pushed, and isolated in pull requests. Okay, so it's isolated and pull requests. All automated tests and the real DaVinci Result 21 validation pass with the Money relink requirement documented honestly. So next, have Copilot review and merge pull requests. One main is clean and synchronized will create we'll create split edit foundations and begin phase 1, the pure deterministic plan math validation layer for J cuts, L cuts, and cutaways. System node, the checkpoint keeps validations. Validated OTIO exporter separate from the upcoming existing callable split edit planning tools. So let's allow. Let's allow again. One more time. Pull request. JSON URL state is draft. So here's the final response. So we got on this end, right click. He hasn't run like the, well, we haven't jumped into, all right, let's see what we got next. So he's writing the new prompt. So let's see. So perfect. Milestone 11B is complete, merged, and safely backed up. Main is clean and synchronized. We can now begin split edit foundations without mixing work. Let's give this to Copilot. So and then we want to go ahead and read the small recap. Let me see. So our correction from our earlier conceptual discussion is important. Okay. A J cut should start B audio earlier on the timeline while starting from B's normal source endpoint. Right. Right. So we're talking about clip B. Start the B audio, and then while starting from B's normal source and endpoint. It's going to start the B audio earlier on the timeline while starting from B's normal source endpoint. Yeah, of course. It should not read audio from before B source boundary. This keeps the operation valid when clips represents consecutive portions of one source. So again, guys, I don't want to go ahead and like dwell too much on the concept of how it works. I just want to make sure that it works when we actually use these features in the application. As of right now, it's looking good. It might not be perfect, and if we have to, make changes once we have the UI set up, then we'll make changes. I don't think that it sounds a little confusing though, because a J cut should start the audio earlier while starting. Yeah, so yeah, that's correct actually. So it's saying that these audios should start earlier on the timeline while starting from its start point. It's just a little confusing because we use different terms, right? Start point means any point. End point means start point. End point means, the end point. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going. Let's see what our guy here is doing. He's making lots of changes right now. So these are some notes. These pure plans will later feed both the FF and PEG composition renderer and an upgraded OTIO export path through the same assistant uncallable decisions. Oh, he's working. He's working hard right now. And I like it. He's putting in his work, no? As he should. Now I'm thinking that this back end process is taking much longer than I expected because I want to be able to use the user interface. The user interface is probably going to be a sweet part of this whole adventure. Just to see how it was built from the back end to the front end. It's going to be quite the treat, if you want to call it, and then being able to use your baby, your application that we built. It's a good feeling, sense of accomplishment. You played a role. It's pretty cool. It's actually cool. Okay, so now he's running the checks, right? And usually we do get a bug or two at first, and then we're gonna go ahead and figure it out. It's running tests and checking type checks, right? The build Python suites, then problem checks across the workspace. It's gonna fix any failures that are related. I always thought it would be nice to see this happening in my actual terminal, but they don't like to mix it because it might corrupt my terminal. So he runs it here in the chat box. Hmm. It's funny how I'm doing this with no extensions, huh? Oh, I do have extensions. Okay. These are global extensions. I like this one here, by the way, the Hugo Helper. You'd be amazed how this extension is not outdated. Hugo is definitely a little outdated. I don't think they've updated it recently, and if they did, like, there's not a lot of people using it anymore. It's a static page builder, but the actual extensions that it comes with, these are like bundle extensions. They're impressive. Few extensions. There's a pack you see for Visual Studios. There's a lot of stuff in here. All right, guys, let me pay attention. Dozing off, huh? So he's running some type checks, tests. Looks like it looks like we passed a couple already. I haven't seen any errors here. It's running some unit tests, Python, and workers tests. Oh, I remember this. You toggle on and off your formatting extensions, such as prettier. See, prettier, ignore, allow. Another update. Oh no, no updates. Look at that. This is the agent window that I was looking at. Okay, so we finished here. Let's go ahead and give them this final response. See what we got out of this. Milestone. This is supposed to be for the J and L cut and the cutaway. So we either implementing it or this is like the starting point of the process. Commence process. Audio A and equals audio out minus duration. Audio B timeline starts is audio out minus duration. Yeah, it looks a lot more complicated when you read it in text format versus actually looking at it work in DaVinci, but I mean, it's very simple. If you press Alt and then drag it over here, this is a L cut, a J cut. The audio starts first, and then when it reaches here, then that's where the video starts. So when the head right here, it's just the audio, and then it transitions, and then they are back together again. And you can unlink it. When you unlink it, then you can see it's negative right here. but here is also negative. When it's zero, it's back to normal again. But again, we'll look at this on a different case scenario with an actual video clip, an audio clip. This is more like a testing clip. It's to test the video, to test the audio, and to test the whole shebang, whatever you want to call it, the whole video. But a real life video, I mean, even though this is basically a real life video, but this is just for like testing the operation and how it works, testing the system, no? So now let's see what's next. Phase one is closed. Yeah, I knew we didn't finish the whole what are we calling this again? We didn't finish the whole process. So let's see. Phase one is closed, but do not commit yet. One acceptance gap stands out. Audio segment list remains continuous conical coverage. Split timing effects are captured as deterministic decision mapping. So the composition plan audio segments should represent the effective JL cut source timeline mapping, not merely retain conical audio while storing the real edit elsewhere. Otherwise, phase two would have two competing sources of truth and could render incorrect audio. So let me give this to Copilot. It looks like there was a small bug that we left out. Now we have to fix it. Let's see what the small notes we have here. Small summary conclusion. Why this matters. Effective split edit timing can remain useful audit information, but the actual track segments must be executable truth. That gives the future FM MPEG renderer one ambiguous plan to follow, right? So, assistant notes. Once corrected, audio segments becomes a safe assistant to render contract for J cuts and L cuts. All right, so let's see how this is going. It's not such a long prompt. I gotta reset my frame per second. Looks like it's lagging at 2%, and that's the stream is lagging. Let me reset it. We're getting some errors. I'm thinking about going through these line of codes and understanding how they work. Maybe one file or a couple of lines of codes. Just go over them and understand and just recall and remember how TypeScript works. I mean, it doesn't look that difficult. It's just export. We're exporting a function here. This is yeah. With this properties and options, stuff like that. looks very clean though, compared to like using full-fledged JavaScript. It's just calling a whole bunch of different properties and basically we're declaring, not declaring them, we're setting them up right here. This is ECMAScript, import export. And I could start this pretty by asking him to create. So I can use one of my triggers in this. Let's say, let me use one of my triggers right now so you see what I mean. So I can run my trigger, um, not annotate, expand, bullet is one of them. I like the sandbox recipe. Let's do an expand bullet real quick. So what this does is going to explain to me in details with examples of how that line of code works. That's all. Expanded more than what I expected. So I'm going to ask him to please put this in a markdown file with what's this one? Flow, original flow transcript. And I want him to add a sandbox recipe. And add a no. So I'm gonna take this one, exit out, Control X. And add sandbox recipe. And then I'm going to take this one, Control X. Okay, let me see what he does if I prompt him to do that. Let's see how that works. He's creating the MD file. You know, why would he name it original flow transcript? That's what I don't understand. And he says here, if you want, I can also split sandbox recipe into a reusable template with refill and fields topic. Okay, so the sandbox recipe might not work because it deals with adding code, but I don't see why not. Let me say okay. I want to see what he's gonna do. He just said great. Okay, so basically this is how it works, right? This is what I do when I don't understand a line of code. I use my expanded trigger, and it says here fusion window seconds number. How it works. This defines the maximum temporal distance used when deciding whether separate fallback signals should be treated as related evidence. In this file, it controls how close silence, audio drops, and scene changes events must be and be to influence one another. Bigger values fuse more events together. Smaller values keep candidates more isolated and strict. So basically, if you go to this file right here, this is a file location path. If you go to fallback boundary analyzer.ts, which is what we're looking at over here, right? This is the file. If you look in there, you're gonna find this line of code export in the interface fallback fusion settings. So this is a block of code, no parameters. All right, so fusion window seconds number is max times distance for fusing nearby evidence, and then mid candidate spacing second number is uh, dedupe spacing after scoring, and then minimum score is a number. This is basically saying what it is. I believe this is a key value pair, more or less. Threshold for accepting a boundary candidate, and then density cap to avoid over fragmenting. So the default local evidence window. Okay, so I mean we got the picture. This is a whole bunch of properties and options that we can now that are now added to our settings and configurations. So we can use these different properties, right? Use like this on fallback candidate fusion. So the value is consumed in nearest scene for silence interval and proximity scores. So all proximity logic is synchronized to one shared threshold that keeps scoring behaviors coherent when assembling combined or seeing only candidates. And okay, why this choice? A single explicit window parameter gives you one stable tuning knob for. So I mean, you got the picture how my trigger works, right? It's just giving you a full explanation that gives you a signal terminology. In practice, this is a temporal tolerance window, not a hard cut boundary by itself. It does not create edit directly. It only influences whether nearby signals are treated as correlated evidence. All right. Now, this is probably not the best place to run my triggers because these are all configurations. So, yeah, I think we should move along. Anyways, let's move along. So why this matters, I already read this. Assistant notes, once corrected, audio segments. Let me see what's going on here. We good on this end. I did give them the last prompt, right? The last explanation, didn't I? No, I didn't. All right, so let's see. Mhm. Problem panel diagnostic 3.12. NPM run checks, test, run build, Whisper Python test. Intentionally does not support them. Intentionally does not support them. Okay. Add or strength test proving exact J cut. Okay, good. So now we have to give them the final response over here. I hope this is the final response because if it's not, then we in for a treat. Yes, we are. Let me see. Composition foundation test stats. Okay. Composition foundation test. Okay. No commit, no push. There you go. We're lagging a little bit again. 1.1 shouldn't be a problem. I wonder if I reset it, does it create a problem on the actual streaming, live stream? Will it cut any of my uh, video and audio? Maybe it's a snippet. So basically, I need to correct an important timing mistakes before we commit. Current J cut mapping is not truly sync safe. With B audio source in and out, place that timeline um out minus duration and then out minus duration. A and B clip. B audio is already seconds ahead when B video appears. Right. And the final duration second of the video have no corresponding audio. That that is a shift audio edit, not a standard synchronized J cut. A proper J cut uses B's clip pre-roll source handle. So the first clip, the audio clip, we have in and out. Minus duration. So we got the beginning. And the audio source for B is in minus duration and then out. So at the visual cut, which is at the end of video A, the end of video A, audio B reaches source position in, exactly matching the video B. Full timeline duration is also preserved. Give Copilot this final correction. This is a lot of abbreviation going on here. Is a filter graph. That's what they call it. So he's gonna go ahead and apply focus sync corrections to J-cut math materialization first, and I'll time validate checks for pre-roll and multi boundaries. All right, let me close this. This is enough. Let me see. Let me see what my guy over here, Gemini, is gonna tell me. He's running the error checks and tests. He says this is a necessary collection to our earlier direction, forbidding source audio before the B in or start. Video B start made a genuinely synchronized J cut impossible. The whole point of J cut is using B's audio handle before B's visual endpoint. Exactly. Supposed to start the audio first. That's the J cut before the video kicks in. You know, allow. Uh-oh, we got an error. Hmm. It's climbing so much quicker now. Let me look at my viewers. Yeah. Hopefully it's not looping. Only one test was failing, and it was due to quantization collapsing. They're all passed. Now we are in good hands. We're on our way, people. Stay focused. Okay, here's the final output. We're gonna go ahead and keep it. Let's see what Gemini says over here. You hit the nail on the head. That is exact mathematical nonlinear editor. That's yeah, that's how video editing applications work now. They're nonlinear. So they're comparing it to the tape machines back in the days when it was like the audio was physically entered through a strip or tape or strip, like the VCRs and stuff like that. Remember the tape decks? Yeah, you too young for that. All right, so for a true J cut, right? So clearly distinguishing between the source time and the timeline time. So by pulling from B's pre-roll handle, B in minus duration, ensure that the audio and video of a clip B remains perfectly in sync once the visual cut happens. So that's what we're trying to fix over here. We want to make sure that by the time the audio and the video meet up again, they meet up synchronously. They synchronize. Okay, so let's see. The correct timing is now sound. J cut causes B pre-roll and restores sync exactly at the visual cut. L cut preserves A's audio after the visual cut and restores B at the delayed audio transitions. Cutaway replaces video while preserving primary audio. All validations suites pass. We're ready for the phase one git checkpoint. Let's go ahead and give this prompt to Copilot. So we got to check our version control, I believe. Let's see. Copy it. Yeah, we're gonna check our differs and compare it. Yeah, basically, we want to make sure that we include the correct files in the build to then run our, you know, commits and then eventually we're gonna push it. All right, we're gonna push the branch and set upstream. So let's go ahead and give them this prompt. Gonna create pull request targeting main, split edit phase one, deterministic J cut, outcut, and cutaway planning. The pull request description must summarize pure planning. Math validations only, correct sync, safe J cut, pre-roll mapping, outcut mapping, video only cutaways. With continuous primary audio, deterministic IDs and ordering. Stage only the reviewed phase one files. Okay. Oh, he's doing a lot here. Let's see. He's running the type checks. So it passed. It's great. We're gonna add deterministic split edit composition planning. Gonna allow it. Allow it. All right, let's go ahead and give them the response. Here we go. Company final response. Short recap. So we now have the edit blueprint, but it does not render media yet. Phase two will translate this validated plan into FMPEG filter graphs and verify actual audio and video synchronization. Here's a note. The committed phase one contract will become the trusted planning input for both assistant commands and the phase two renderers. Let's go ahead and give the final report or response. Okay, so let's see what he says here. Phase one is safely committed and backed up in a pull request. So this is the pull request, and it's number 3. Okay, the on tracked original flow transcript IMD is not part of the milestone and must remain untouched. So we're gonna give Copilot this merge prompt, and we're gonna read it since it's becoming a little feasible to do so. Been working with prompts for the past few days now, so we should be able to understand exactly. And it's plain English. It's nothing crazy. It's probably easier to read this than to read a whole book or to read a book or a page. And we're gonna allow it because it's like noted down. You know, you just skim through this. So we're gonna review the PR, the pull request before merging it. So confirm PR is open and not drafted. Basis main head is features split edit foundation. PR is mergeable. Changed files are exactly we're gonna allow. Up here, state and URL merge commit hash final local and more branches. Okay, so there's a request. Phase one now provides deterministic validated instructions. So we're done here. This is working faster than usual. And my tokens are flying. I they're definitely flying somewhere. Not to my pocket. That's fine. We'll figure it out. Alright, so okay. So we're gonna begin phase two. Convert the trusted composition plan into a real FFM pack, filter graph, and render J cuts and no cuts and cutaways. So I think this is where we're gonna end up using an actual video. Not a real video. It's gonna be more like a hypothetical, a prototype, some sort. Oh, let's keep reading. We'll figure it out. So is it done yet? Yeah, this is gonna be a long one because again, we're gonna create the video, a hypothetical one. A small explanation of what we are doing. Phase one calculated the edit timeline. Phase two now reads that timeline, trims each required source interval, resets each interval timestamps, normalizes their format, and concatenates the pieces into one synchronous output file. So hopefully my system can add these J cuts when necessary, right? Yeah, why not? And hopefully when he does add these J cuts, we're gonna have, I guess, three different copies. We're gonna have obviously the original copy, maybe not, but I hope that we're gonna have the copy where the cuts occurred without the J cuts, just normal cuts. So then, if the edits that my system made, if I don't approve of them, then I could manually make the edits myself or ourselves, you know. So that's the plan. So let me see. So what is he doing here? I gotta give him this over here. This is phase two. Okay, so split edits, phase two. Secure FFM peg composition renderer, composition renderer, continue from main after merge PR3, protect the original flow, leave it untouched. Okay, create and switch. All right, I didn't give them. Did we? No. Okay, we haven't ran this yet, so. Do not commit, push, merge, or create APR. Objective, implement a secure deterministic FF MPEG renderer that consumes the validated composition plan from phase one. It must render. Synchronize J cuts, L cuts, video only B-roll cutaways, continuous primary audio through cutaways. We have to also talk about ripple cuts, ripple trims. That's very important. There's a shortcut for this, and it's very useful, and it's it's a shortcut that's definitely gonna make you do things in a quicker manner, and you'll see when we use it in the future. All right, so architecture rules. So it preserves milestone 1, 11B, and splits edits phase 1. Do not modify F MPEG video cutter. Do not change global planner authority or canonical 5 to 7 minute boundary. Okay. So the renderer should. He's making changes. He finished the architectural mapping. He's now going to implement phase 2 renderer. Source binding must be explicit. Let's see. There's something here that caught my eye. They must render synchronized JCuts. So they implement a secure deterministic renderer that consumes the validated composition plan from phase 1. So synchronized JCuts. Okay. Filter chain comparable. Build it structurally in TypeScript. Do not accept user provided filter fragments. For every order entry, build source index video audio 0. So it's, no, that's video clip A. So we're gonna start. We're gonna end it. We're gonna accept this is where we at 0. Where was it I put this information? Should be up here. Yeah, he didn't explain this part. Resets the presentation. Okay, this is the presentation timestamps. Okay. I just want to look at this and make sure that he's still, he's not in a loop. Because once he gets into a loop, then that's when it crashes at one point, and we don't want it to crash. So we want to make sure that he's looping. If he's looping through these types, um, what is it, type checks or these tests, that it doesn't become like infinite, because then it's gonna crash. Even though he does prompt us and he prompts us, and then whether he should or shouldn't keep going, and usually I would say yes. until that is that I noticed that he prompted me like 2 or 3 times, then I know there's a problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and take whatever he's doing and I'm gonna give it to another user agent. Then this user agent is gonna give me a more or less a solution, and then I'll give the solution to my, this GitHub Git Copilot. And then usually we figure it out like that. And worst case scenario is that I have to go and Google the information, which is very rare, and find the solution in a different format or website, such as the good old, you know, what is it called again? The good old red edit. That's one place to go. You know, websites like that. Where's the other one? You guys know which one I'm talking about. Come on. I'm thinking of an example. I can't remember. This one passed. That's good. We still have 23 errors though, or 23 changes. Okay, he's done already. Hopefully, this is not gonna go longer than what I expect because I really want to get into the user interface part as soon as possible. So let's see what he says here. A small explanation of what we're doing. Phase one calculated the edit timeline. Phase two now reads the timeline trims each required source interval, sets each individual stamps, normalizes their format, and concatenates the pieces into one synchronized output file. System notes, render compilation plan. We eventually let the system invoke this renderer through safe file-based contracts without accepting arbitrary FFM peg commands. Let me give them the results. I could just open this. How to change settings in VS JSON. I don't know where GitHub. I think that's the. Oh, guess I can't find it now. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So the render architecture is complete, but before committing, I recommend one last quality check. The raw integration test currently proves the files render, duration match, and temporary files are cleaned up, but it does not yet prove that the correct audio is heard at the JL transitions. All the B-roll audio is truly absent. So B audio would be the L transition. A audio would be the J transition. See, this is the purpose of researching, right? Here I am working at this J and L transition cutaways or whatever. J cut, L cut. Now, I'm not an expert at this at all, right? And it's been almost an hour since we started this process, right? And you just learn. That's all. That's the benefit of working through these long hours, right? Even though, again, you can watch a video and get the information instantly, but will it stick? That's the question. Yeah, probably will. So let's keep this. So as he was saying, we want to make sure that the audio and the J cut and then the L cut transitions apply. Is either, well, in this case is the B roll that is absent. So the distinction matters because a structurally valid MP4 can still contain the wrong audio. Give Copilot this acceptance hardening prompt. So basically, we're going in hard mode, advanced mode, making sure that we run some advanced type checks and tests and make sure that it's working. That's all. Now I look sideways. The beauty of online courses, huh? Coaching, teaching, tutorials. It's quite an amazing adventure, huh? Right after this, I'm gonna go ahead and make some video clips out of one of my. I would say I'm gonna start with my. Let's see, what videos should I start with? Let's say I'm gonna start with the videos. One of my first videos, the ones that I believe that are worth it at the moment, and it would be somewhere around here. Yeah, this one. That's where I want to start. These are already edited. They're already up in my channel. This one is 40 minutes. We can cut it into 4 clips. No, into 8 clips. Yep. We're gonna allow. Third visibility, distinct color pattern, deliberately loud, distinct audio tones such as 1760 hertz. We're going to keep features short so integration test remains practical. But no visual boundaries, okay. We have an error here. You know, I haven't been using this, so I want to, you know what I'm going to do is this. That I know is fine. The command failed. Composition render integration equals true. We're running the type checks and allow. So it's done. We passed once more. So phase two now has strong media level evidence. We have confirmed not just that MP4's renders, but the correct picture and audio appears at each J cut, L cut, and cutaway intervals. Proceed with the Git checkpoint. All right, so we're gonna check our Git repository and version control. We're gonna go ahead and I believe it's done already. We're gonna copy it. Okay. So short recap. To allow. Phase one created the edit instructions. Ah, that was quick. Phase two now renders those instructions and has verified the actual sound and picture around every transition. Here are the notes. Pull requests. This in my, let me see something. Git ignore. Where are you? Why isn't it here? This file. Transcript. Yeah, this one. It should be ignore. Uh-uh. Is this correct? There you go. Fixu safely committed and blocked and backed up to PR4, the actual renderer media behavior, not merely file structure, has been verified. Give Copilot this merge prompt. Another one. After this merge, the next phase will be a thin workflow CLI layer that safely loads a procedure, produce that loads or produces a composition plan, binds source files, invokes the renderer and reports the final output without duplicating the planner or rendering logic. Here's the notes. Merging phase 2 established as tested. Alpha MPEG. So phase two is merged successfully, but we should not start the next phase yet because main has an unexpected yet ignored modification. The transcript itself remains untouched, but adding it to was outside the merge instructions. The change is probably useful if it prevents accidental commits, but it should be reviewed and checkpoints separate. Really? That's all right. I could have just done it myself, no? The render is safely merged. We're only cleaning up this one source control loose, and so that the next feature starts from a clean audible branch. This housekeeping rule protects local planning materials from accidental assistant or git staging without affecting application execution. So now the housekeeping change is now isolated correctly in pull request files. Merge merge it before starting the next feature. Nice. Hmm. So ignore local flow transcript, right? Merge pull requests. Number four, editing FFmpeg, and the fee is render split edit composition plan. The merge pull request three, one. Now we're gonna do five. Uh-huh. Okay, so merge pull request number five. So everything is now clean. Merge and protected. The next step is phase 3. Make split edits usable through a real workflow and CLI without modifying the existing video processing command. The safest assign is a separate composition request. So let's give this, and no, it's not done yet. Still jumping. Still working. Chronicle manifest plus composition request, validated composition plan, FFmpeg tag renderer, plan.json, compose video document. He's still working. This is gonna be a long one. I can tell. Very long. All right. I'm tired. It's gonna be a long one. Okay. Split edits. All right. Preserve all existing processors and npm run process behaviors. Do not add split edit responsibilities. So request contract, create a strict version contract assembly. We got what kind was the composition request. The schema is 1.1. The manifest path is manifest.json. Split edits, decision ID, type. These are the key value pairs. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and I don't think anything crazy is gonna happen. Because I'm gonna rest now. So first practical outcome. After this phase, you'll be able to describe edits and one small JSON request and run one command to produce both the validated edit plan and final composed video. So executive competition request will provide the future assistant with a safe path-based entry point while keeping all planning and FFmpeg details behind validated local modules. So we're finally getting into the physical test. But, we're finally gonna get into running some physical tests. Hopefully, I get to play around with the new feature. That's what I'm getting from this. So after this phase, you'll be able to describe edits, request, and run one command. Right. So I get to run a command and to validate the edit plans and final compose videos. Video. So that's cool. Well, we're getting some errors here. Let me see. Command failed. So it looks like we're gonna run a type check. Look like it passed. That one passed. Now we're gonna run the test. And we got error, life cycle script, right. Um, all right. Oof. Hopefully we don't got error. Uh-oh. Looks like, yep. This looks like a loop. Directory, composition plan, JSON. Expect workflow, execute requests. Workflows. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna continue. That was one loop. Now he's gonna loop again. Validation is green in TypeScript. Okay. Uh-oh. What does this mean? Hmm? Is green on TypeScript and build, and I'm now running both required Python test suites, and then I'll capture file diagnostics and git status summary. Configuring a Python environment. Let me give them a few seconds to see what happens. Maybe I need to give an input here. Yeah, this looks like that's something I have to do here. Oh, print screen. Let's see. If anything, it's probably 12 because if we're working with OTIO, it's on Python version 3.12. If not, we could use the 14. Though I prefer using the long-term support version versus the most recent. So that pop-up is asking which Python environment VS Code should use for editor existence. Does not control the application dedicated workers. Press escape to close it without selecting any. Our environment intentionally remains separate. Okay, so now he's working. Copilot should run each test suite using those explicit paths. Environment path variables path. Do not choose the global Python or replace either work environment. The root shown in the list is not the authoritative environment for either worker, so selecting it could give misleading pilots and porting warnings. After closing the pop-up, let Copilot continue. No installation or environment change if needed. Small recap. This is VS Code editor configuration prompt, not a build failure. Your TypeScript workflows and both Python workers remain unaffected. All right, so we're still getting an error. I might have to I might have to start showing this error because we keep getting the same error. Composite workflow. Uh-huh. Okay. So it looks like we made it. Shit. Forgot about this. He doesn't take files. It needs to be in text format. So let me stop it. Do it again. Show in text format and then So phase three is functionally completed and the real workflow passed end to end. The composition render TX adjustment is appropriate only if it is narrowly limited to requiring audio for asset reference by authoritative audio segments alongside the B-roll while preserving primary audio requirements. Proceed with the checkpoint. Now we're gonna checkpoint. This has been longer than expected. I really hope this is gonna be quite the treat when we actually complete it. So short recap. Phase three turns the splitting edit system into usable command. A small validated request now flows through the Chronicle manifest, planner, plan, artifacts, and renderers without duplicating their responsibility assistant. Note this CLI becomes a safe local execution boundary that a future assistant can call using only a validated request file path. Scope matches, we're gonna go ahead and allow. He's finally compacting the conversations. The CLI becomes a safe local execution boundary that a future assistant can call using only a validated request file path. Jeez, 35%. Phase 3 is officially complete. Now we should perform the first manual user-facing composition test using the same 10-minute canonical manifest already validated. Clip A, 1 second. J cut at the 5-minute boundary. That's perfectly fine. Give Copilot its preparation and run this. I already did that. A 5-second blue B-roll cutaway around 6 minutes. Primary audio continues to be a cutaway. Final plan and MP4 creation through NPM and compose. So, oh, he's running the test right now. And looks like we've got good news. Push command, print working directory. Very perfect. Looks like we got something going here. Uh-oh. After it finishes, manually play this. The manual CLI workflow passed completely. Request parsed correctly. J-cut plan starts B audio at 4:59, 1 second before visual boundary. Blue B roll replaces video from 6 to 6:05. B-roll audio is excluded. Primary audio remains continuous. Final valid 600 seconds. Okay. So watch from 0:58 to 5:02. Confirm the J cut. Confirm blue B-roll appears, and then the cutaway. So I have to go to and open this in my Let's see. It's just a playback. I'm not editing. So I would have to go here. Yeah, I gotta run this exam later. Test. All right. Um, yeah, that was not the plan. Oh boy, now it's going. I have to go to here. Data. Output manual composition. CLI, and then I have validation. Um, 258. 258. Now I have to play this audio. So now he's telling me to check for 0.4 minutes. 4 minutes should be around here. 4 minutes. Yeah, I don't see the difference. You can't see the difference though. There's absolutely no difference. Confirm uninterrupted playback. Confirm blue B-roll appears for 5 seconds while audio continues. The J cut may not sound dramatic. Its exact timing is already proven by the plan and signal. In short, split, edit, and cutaways down work through a real safe one command workflow. No further implementation is needed for this feature unless manual playback reveals something unexpected. Okay, that's what I was looking for. So it works. All the way up to 607. And cut. Alright, that's fine. So everything worked here. My last. Um, okay. So I'm good here. Alright, guys, it's time to go. I'm just gonna run. I'm just gonna cut one of my videos into 4 sections. Let's start with the first one. So let me prompt him that I want to edit this video. Like that, I get the script or the command. Um, Shoot, this is what I don't like. Let me see. I gotta get into a folder here to get the right command, to get the right location. So, yeah, something like this. But I have to put in the correct file name. And it's going to be, uh-oh, stuck. Where am I? Hold on. Supposed to be in here, videos. Go all the way down here. F2, Control Alt, Control Copy. Get rid of this folder. Okay, absolutely. We'll keep the original file untouched and write everything to a new output directory. Which edit do you want first? Automatically divided into contexts of, yep. Clips with title and description. Create a compose edit. Do both. Generate clips first, then enhance selected clips. I recommend option ones first because it creates the canonical manifest and edit boundaries that the composition workflows uses. So okay. Okay, let's do both. Let's do both. We'll do we'll do it in two steps. Process the original into context-aware 5 to 7 minute clips and generate the chronocolonial manifest. Use the manifest to create and enhance compositions, JL cuts, and cutaways. First, Copilot is pre-flight and processing prompt. Good to go. Let's go ahead and do that. He's rendering the video, and the pipeline is going to be auto. Pipeline A is if we have transcript. Pipeline B is if we do not transcribe it. If for some reason one of the applications is not working, I believe the one that transcribed it is Buddha. Not sure if it's FFmpeg. No, no, it's Python. One of them transcribed it. So yeah, it says here set location. Whisper device is CUDA, and then we got flow 16, and we got small. Output directory already exists. It's doing this thing. Yeah, this usually takes long. All right, guys, I'm done for today. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. It was fun.